Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We are going to go over some details on Rapid Resizer today.
So we get a lot of questions from you guys on how to use Rapid Resizer, and we decided to bring in the professional because otherwise I'd screw it up. So Vicky's going to go over some stuff.
So I've had a lot of people ask about the different tiers of payment for Rapid Resizer. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But basically, we're going to do the basics. I did a video, I don't know, a few years ago on more detailed. We'll refer back to that here in a little bit. But we're just going to go over the basics. Bringing in a logo, blowing it up, getting it ready to transfer. And then also going over a photograph and kind of bringing that in and going over that. So stick with us and hopefully I'll answer some of your questions. Okay guys, so we are going to go over Rapid Resizer. So you just go in and type in Rapid Resizer. I would prefer rapidresizer.com, but that's okay. So Rapid Resizer. There are 3 tiers to Rapid Resizer. Oops. There is the basic plan, which is $39 a year. There is the designer plan, which is what we have, which is $59 a year. And then there's the pro plan, which is $119 a year. A lot of things that I don't have to worry about having the pro designer just because I don't get that involved. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 things. We're going to upload a logo, and then we are going to upload and design from a picture. So you're going to go right here where it says load design to resize. Pick your design. We're going to use our logo here. And it'll bring it in here. And this is just kind of where it automatically goes to. But I don't want it that size. I want it, okay, we're going to do it a big one. We're going to do it, and it automatically sets it in proportion. It says it may be blocky, which means it's just going to show a lot of pixelation. Let's make it smaller. Let's do 24. And then it'll make it 24 by 17. And you can see here the different, each one of these squares is a page. So it would print it in, I think, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 pages. If you don't want it in proportion, you just take it out of here and you set the size to whatever you want. Let's say 18. It's still basically going to be the same. Okay? I'm going to put that back in proportion. And then we're going to customize it because I might want to crop it. Here you can customize. You can mirror or rotate it, crop it, save ink, design it, all these different things. There are some things in here that you will not be able to do unless you have the professional or the pro program. But we are going to do the basics. You're going to crop it. So you just drag these lines, which this is basically cropped, so I'm not going to crop anything here. Don't change. And then we're going to go back up here, and we are going to clarify it, meaning I'm going to turn this into a black and white print. So this bar up here, you can just turn it into a black and white just by sliding that bar. If you want it in a line drawing, you can come right back up here to where it says drawing, and you can turn it into a line drawing. And again, you can adjust the pixels to where it's darker or it's lighter. This is going to make it actually lighter. It doesn't make it too much lighter because it's so black. But so that's what that's going to do right there. So where you can, depending on your picture, your logo, they have this right here. It says invert. You can click on that and it just kind of almost makes it into like a negative. But then you click it back because we don't want that. We're not going to apply these changes. But I am going to change my mind on this size. I want this to fit on a 12 by, I guess height would be actually 24. I'm sorry. 24. In proportion, it's 17. I think that's basically where it was. But before you can transfer this,
You definitely want to mirror it so that when you transfer that onto your board, it is correct for your carving. So you're just going to click on mirror, and it turns it backwards, and then you apply your changes. And then you just print it. I'm not going to print it, but I will show you real quick. If you print this, we're going to assume, we're not going to actually print it, but you can see here. Anyway, so you can see here how it's going to print, and you can also see how pixelated this is. Very pixelated because it's so big, and that artwork is not that big, but you can see how pixelated that goes. So now what we're going to do is we are actually going to bring in a photograph. So we're just going to go up here, new project. If you have any questions on this, you guys, you can call me or email me. We're going back to the front page, load a design to resize. I'm going to pick a photo. This is fun. This is a good picture. You'll like this. It's a very young Ryan and Amy. I think that was in Monterey or something when we went up there. All right. Again, you're going to customize it because a lot of people do portraits and they want to know how to turn a photograph into a line drawing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to crop this a bit. Crop it just by dragging that over there and that over there. That looks good. Apply your changes. So there. If we were to print it just like that, you'd be printing in 2 tiles, but we are not. So we're going to customize it. We're going to turn this into a line drawing. So we cropped it. We're going to go over here to where it says Save Ink. Clarify your designs. And up here, if you look up here across the top, this would just turn it into a black and white, which is not what we want, but we want it turned into a drawing. And you can make these lines more defined. Kind of, we're going to make it lighter each time we go. So you would have to kind of bring your photo in, guys. The best thing to do is bring your photo in, play with it, make it what you want it to be, make it all really light. I mean, bring your photo in, see what you want with it, play with it. You don't have to print it or anything else. You just play with it till it's what you want, and then you've got your lines for carving. Anyway, and then you would apply your changes. Now again, if you're going to transfer this onto a board, you want to make sure it's transferred right for carving. So this is basically, if you set this down and you go to carve it, it's not going to turn out the way you want. So you want to mirror it, just like with anything else. Mirror it just basically means turning it around so that when you put it on the board, it looks right. So that's the basics.
Hey guys, all right, well there you go. That was a great tutorial that Vicki did. Remember guys, when you bring your pictures in there or your drawing, you may just play around with the settings and see what works best for what you bring in. It might be completely different than what the logo or the picture that Vicki brought in. Maybe that invert thing might work better for your picture.
Depending on what it is, yeah.
Yeah, so you just have to bring it in and play around with the settings. Don't be scared to hit some of those buttons and play with those settings, because that's the way you'll learn.
Also, once you get your picture where you want it, something I forgot to go over is save your, make sure you save it. Otherwise, you have to start all over again.
Yeah, so there are 3 different tiers, and you can see all of the benefits for each of the tiers by clicking on the pricing tab at the very top when you go to Rapid Resizer. Just click on the pricing, the basic tier, there's the designer tier, and the pro. We use the designer, the mid-tier ones, about $60 a year. Way worth it. I mean, we use this thing all the time. So if you're using it very much, that $60 a year is great pricing.
So once you get your picture, again, we talked about get everything ready to go and you save it and then you're ready to print it. You want to make sure, number one, that your printer is on the best setting for picture print. Mine doesn't say picture printing, it says cardstock, so that I know I'm going to get the most amount of ink usable for my printing. And then we use this label backer paper, and we print on the shiny side. That way the ink sets on there so that when you take it and transfer it, it goes right onto the board. You can get this paper. I think you can get it on Amazon, label backer, but you can also, you know, go to the store, the doctor's office, someplace. Maybe somebody's got something like this, or maybe you've got it. Or you can use this freezer paper here.
The link will be in the description to the freezer paper that we use. I like the label backer. Again, this is any labels that print in your inkjet printer.
All right, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, make sure you send me an email, or Vicky@makeawoodsign.com, I'm sorry, or Eric@makeawoodsign.com. You email Ryan at makeawoodsign.com. They will all forward them over to me, so it might take longer if you don't email me directly. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
We love you guys. Bye-bye.